It's the summer of 2002, and while the whole country is caught up in the excitement of the World Cup championships, Dayang and Dajang are barely keeping their heads above water as they try to take care of their twins. They're just days away from eviction. Dayang works multiple low-paying jobs to earn whatever money he can, and Dajang is so overwhelmed with stress that it's making her physically and mentally sick. With two babies strapped to her like weights, Dajang gazes longingly at a JBC hiring ad. Adult Dayang narrates, "That summer, it felt like everyone else's dreams were coming true. At the age of 20, we had to put our dreams on hold. There was a girl who lit up the world. She had a bright voice and a dazzling dream. Whenever life felt too heavy, I remembered her favorite quote. No matter how hard life gets, never regret anything. That made you smile." In the present, Dajang sits in the waiting room at the JBC building, waiting her turn for the anchor position screen test. The woman beside her mentions she forgot her calming tonic, so Dajang offers to share her herbal medicine. The woman says this might be her last chance because she's already 30, and Dajang smiles and confesses that she's 37, and even has kids. When it's finally her turn, she's told that she'll be reading from a prompter as if she's on the air. The prompter will suddenly switch to breaking news, testing the candidate's ability to adapt in real time. The guy who goes first completely messes up the switch up, then refuses to leave and has to be dragged out. Dajang's appearance immediately catches the evaluator's attention, but it's her quick thinking when the breaking story pops up on the prompter that really impresses them. While she's still speaking, a tech accidentally spills coffee on the switchboard and the power briefly goes out, but Dajang stays calm and smoothly apologizes to the viewers, scoring even more points. One evaluator asks when Dajang finished college, trying to guess her age without directly asking, since it's a blind test. She answers truthfully that she graduated in 2011, giving them the wrong impression that she's in her late 20s. Meanwhile, it's Dayang's first day of high school in nearly 2 decades, and he discovers that his son Shivu is being bullied. He tries to follow him out of the restroom and ends up face to face with his daughter, Shia, who gives him serious attitude and drags him up to the roof with her and her friends. She's acting like a total delinquent. She tells Dayang, thinking he's Wooyoung, the new guy who freaked out on her at the convenience store the other night, that she doesn't play games. She confronts people head-on. He asks if she knows Shivu is being bullied, and when it's clear that she does, he snaps at her for not telling their dad. Shia takes offense at him talking about her family and warns him not to show his face around her again. She stalks off, turning back just once to shoot him a final death glare, and Dayang quietly wonders what happened to the sweet little girl he once raised. What he doesn't know is that she's still there. This whole act was just a way to scare off the new guy. Later, Dayang finds Shivu eating lunch alone and ends up confronting his bully, Jasag. His fake out with the basketball makes Jasag flinch in front of the whole lunchroom, which only fuels his anger. Dayang calmly threatens to call Jasag's father and report his bullying. He sighs and says that some kids grow bigger than others and turn into bullies just because of their size, but they're still immature. Then, eyeing Jasag's pants, he mutters that maybe that's where the immaturity really is. Jasag growls at Dayang to say something else, so Dayang stares him down and firmly tells him to apologize to Shivu. Jasag pulls back a fist, but Dayang doesn't even flinch, and just then, a teacher calls out to stop him. Jasag walks away, and Shivu looks at Dayang with a new sense of respect. Frustrated, Daeyoung storms outside and decides to have a cigarette, so he heads to the same spot where kids used to smoke back when he was in school. He remembers a moment from the past, the day he turned this same corner and found one of his basketball teammates bullying Dukjin while smoking. Daeyoung had scolded the guy and offered to settle this right there, but the bully had backed down. Daeyoung laughs to himself, realizing that now he's the one coming here to smoke. But he's not alone. Xia is already there, vaping. She acts tough, reminding him not to show his face around her, and when Daeyoung tries to lecture her about smoking, she throws it back at him. He's there to smoke too, after all. She runs off, and just as Daeyoung is yelling after her, a teacher sneaks up behind him and smacks him on the head. Daeyoung turns to see the boy who used to bully Dukjin, Choi Il-kwon, now all grown up and working as the school's pay teacher. Il-kwon takes offense at Daeyoung talking to him like they're old friends, and when Daeyoung shows him that the cigarette box isn't even opened, Il-kwon offers to let him go if he rats out the other student. Daeyoung totally sells out Xia. He figures it's the only way to teach her a lesson since she won't listen to him anyway. But Il-kwon goes back on his word and makes sure Daeyoung gets punished too. Their parents are called, and when Dukjin gets the call from teacher OK, he skips out on an important meeting just to see his new crush. In the elevator, he runs into Dajung's friend Airin, who's a lawyer and has an office in the same building as Dukjin's electronics company. She doesn't hide her disgust for him and his flashy outfit, and she mockingly pities whatever poor kid shares his DNA. Dajung shows up at the school first, and Daeyoung does his best to keep his face hidden from her. But when teacher OK asks where Xia got the electronic cigarette and Xia blurts out that it was her mom's, Daeyoung springs to his feet, yelling again in frustration. Dajung gets up too and storms over, pushing Daeyoung all the way to the wall before grabbing his face and squeezing it until teacher OK has to literally pull her off. Dajung stares hard at him, marveling at how much the new kid looks like Xia's father, which makes Xia start to wonder if her mom has completely lost it. Thankfully, Dukjin arrives just in time and claims that Wooyoung is his son, which shocks everyone so much they forget how familiar the kid looks. Teacher OK dismisses the kids, and Daeyoung makes a fast escape. Once the meeting is over, the adults walk out into the hallway, where Il-kwon passes by and recognizes both Dajung and Dukjin. He seems warm and cheerful now, but Dukjin clearly isn't happy to see his old bully and quickly hurries away. Il-kwon sighs, admitting he was terrible to Dukjin back in school. Dajung is more open and friendly, and judging by Il-kwon's shy smile, there might be more than just a past friendship between them. After school, Daeyoung overhears Xia talking about going to work and asks why she's trying to make money. She snaps that it's none of his business, but says there's something she wants to do. Daeyoung stops her friend Jiho and gently asks if he knows why Xia is working. Jiho says he does, but it's not his place to share. Daeyoung's attention is pulled away when he sees Jasak and his gang nearby, clearly following Shivu. He trails behind them at a distance, worried, but Shivu eventually walks into a basketball court and the bullies wander off. Remembering that Shivu claimed he no longer liked basketball, Daeyoung watches in surprise as his son quietly shoots hoops, realizing that he was lying. He calls Shivu and tells him that if he still loves basketball, he'll support him no matter what. But Shivu responds flatly that he's not into it anymore. Daeyoung says that if anyone is bullying him, he should come to him for help, but Shivu insists that nobody is. So Daeyoung just tells him, with quiet emotion, that no matter what, he'll always be on his side. He hangs up and walks over to Shivu, still pretending to be Wooyoung, and surprises him by nailing a clean jump shot. Shivu actually smiles. He asks Daeyoung not to tell his dad or Dukjin that he plays, and Daeyoung promises to keep it quiet. Shivu says he only plays basketball for fun, and when Daeyoung says, "Then that means you still care about it," Shivu grins again and replies, "Who said I didn't?" That night, Dajang waits for Xia to come home and confronts her about the electronic cigarette. Xia admits she took it from her mom's drawer, knowing Dajang doesn't actually smoke. She demands to know why it's okay for her mom to smoke but not her. Dajang answers that Xia is still a minor, but Xia fires back that she's only 2 years away from being an adult, and that when she is, she's not going to live like her mom. Dajang asks quietly, "Why do you think I live like this?" But Xia snaps, "Did I ask you to give birth to me?" and storms into her room, slamming the door. The truth is, the electronic cigarette wasn't Dajang's either. A while ago, she caught Daeyoung browsing for one online and nagged him to quit smoking. But she felt guilty afterward and secretly bought the one he liked as a gift. The night she planned to give it to him, he came home drunk and called her names. Hurt and disappointed, she took it back home. She tried it once out of curiosity, hated it, and put it away, not realizing Xia had seen her. Later, Daeyoung follows Shivu home, pretending he needs help practicing so he can try out for the basketball team. But Shivu turns him down. At that moment, Dajang comes outside with recycling and greets Wooyoung awkwardly, apologizing for the scene at school. Daeyoung sees the electronic cigarette in her hand and assumes she's out there to smoke. He forgets that he's supposed to be someone else and starts lecturing her like her husband. He ends up having drinks later with Dukjin, wishing he had told Dajang that he's her husband. Instead, he'd just mumbled something about living overseas and forgetting to speak formally. Dajang asks why he didn't tell her the truth, and we see Daeyoung as his older self as he says, his voice heavy with regret, that it's because of his kids. He admits that he's realized he doesn't really know Xia and Shivu well at all, and that in one day, they have told a stranger more than they've ever told their own father. The person my kids need right now isn't Hong Daeyoung the father, but their school friend, Go Wooyoung. Dajang goes to a bar to meet up with Eirin, and she is surprised when Ilkwon shows up as their server. He explains that it's his brother's bar, and he's just there to help out. Dajang tells Eirin about Xia's smoking, blaming herself for being too caught up with the divorce and her interviews to really pay attention to her kids. Ilkwon overhears and asks if she's divorced from Daeyoung, then quickly apologizes for eavesdropping. Dajang says it's okay and gets ready to leave, so Ilkwon offers to drive her home. He goes off to get his car, and Eirin teases that it looks like Ilkwon still has a crush on Dajang. They're momentarily distracted by a commotion in the corner. A woman slaps her date and storms out. The camera lingers on the man's face, partially hidden by his baseball cap. While they wait outside for Ilkwon, Dajang mopes about how dull her life has become. Eirin tells her to close her eyes, imagine herself as strong and confident, and count to 10, then, when she opens her eyes, she should date the first man she sees. Dajang decides to give it a try. She closes her eyes and slowly starts walking forward, counting softly to 10. As she walks, she thinks, I've been living my life all wrong, at work, in my marriage, and as a mother. Everything up to this point has been wrong. Suddenly, a car zooms past her and someone spins her around. When she opens her eyes, she's in Dayoung's arms. Dayoung checks to make sure she's okay, then leans in close as if to kiss her, but sniffs and says, "You've been drinking." Dajang steps back, and someone grabs her shoulders. It's the guy from the bar who got dumped. He asks if she's alright and then tells her to move out of his way. Ilkwon finally pulls up in his car, and feeling jealous, Dayoung also begs for a ride. During the drive, he spends most of the time glaring at the back of Ilkwon's head, while Aaron makes things awkward by mentioning that Dajang was Ilkwon's first love. Ilkwon points out that Wooyoung looks exactly like Dayoung did as a teenager, and Dajang agrees. But Aaron quickly adds that the new kid is way more handsome. Ilkwon jokes that kids these days are much taller, and that if he and Dayoung tried to join the basketball team now, they'd be benched. Dayoung snaps back, saying he was always first string, unlike some people. When Dajang asks how he knows, he lies smoothly that Dayoung had taught him to play. Dayoung insists that Ilkwon drop him off with Dajang, but refuses her offer to call a taxi for him. She tells him she smells alcohol on his breath but won't tell him to stop drinking because she knows how little an adult's opinion matters to a kid his age. Still, she warns that if he wants to be an athlete, he shouldn't drink or smoke, and reminds him that Dayoung was a good basketball player because he took care of himself and worked hard. She apologizes for nagging, but Dayoung says seriously that he likes it. It sounds like she cares about him. Dajang then flags down a passing taxi and helps him get in. She promises she'll quit smoking if he does. She thinks he still believes the electronic cigarette was hers, but Dukjin had told him earlier that Dajang bought it as a gift for him. Instead of going home, Dayoung heads to the convenience store where Xia works, just to check on her. Meanwhile, Ilkwon meets up with some friends and shyly tells them he ran into his first love, and that she's still beautiful. Young wakes up early the next morning, determined to follow Dajang's advice and take better care of himself. He goes to the court to practice his shots, then heads out for a run. Dajang is also out jogging, and they end up on opposite ends of the same bridge. Dajang suddenly stops, remembering how Wooyoung saved her last night and how much he looks like Dayoung, both in appearance and in his dream to play basketball. She turns and runs back the way she came, unaware that if she'd only gone a little further, she would have met Dayoung himself. Back home, she pulls out an old photo album and searches for a picture of Dayoung as a teenager. Sure enough, he's a dead ringer for the new kid. She then goes to Dukjin's house, where Dayoung has already returned, and catches him just as he's leaving for school. She gets right up in his face, looking furious, and accuses him, "You're Hong Dayoung,